Okay, thank you very much, everyone. This is our 15-minute webinar series. I think it's the fifth or sixth one in sequence right now. This is why a simple Maximo punch-out deployment will typically disappoint. So first of all, we've been doing this for about 10 years or so, and this is not meant to be a negative or a knock on punch-out, but it does actually entail some great lessons learned. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Mike Popovich. I'm the president and founder of P2 Insight. We're the only Maximo business partner focusing exclusively on MRO supply chain for customers using Maximo for asset management. And this year, actually September 1st, was celebrating 10 years of punch-out deployments. And this presentation is really more or less some lessons learned along the way. Um, so I will be the first one to say punch-out is the best thing since sliced bread. It truly is. And everyone who's deployed punch-out in our last 10 years or so, no one dislikes it. Everyone likes punch-out. They love it. They start using it. Usage grows. The spend with the punch-out vendors increases significantly. Vendor consolidation starts happening. Contract compliance increases. Everything is really very, very positive. Some key reasons is you have to rekey in, right? There's no typos, no omitting information, no price adjustments, no ordering from suppliers that no longer carry items that are out of stock. Okay, it's accurate, it's complete. Basically, transfers information from the vendor's catalog to your Maximo system electronically, so it's accurate, it's complete, and you have all the item details necessary for proper order placement. So it supports a flawless downstream delivery process and payment process. So what could be wrong? Why is that title saying why it disappoints? Well, PunchOut looks like a massive win out of the gate. When you first deploy this, everyone loves it. It works really well. Like spending compliance goes up, like I said, technicians love the e-commerce feel, the search capabilities, and so forth. But a year into it, the cracks in the simple deployments start to show. And here's what standard implementations miss. So here's our lessons learned. First, about a year into using PunchOut, organizations notice that their inventory turnover is reduced. Actually, their inventory is not being used, right? And the reason is that a lot of the inventory items are being purchased instead of sourced from inventory. And the root cause, once we dug into this, was we realized that technicians find the supplier's systems easier to use. When they go to Grainger, Fastenal, and others, they find their search mechanism easier and faster to find what they need. So they just punch out. They may give a cursory search in Maximo, and if they don't find it, they quickly go over to Grainger, search using their acquired query tools, find what they need, select it, and buy it. Okay, so for them, it's an improvement. For the organization, it's a bad thing, right? They're disappointed that inventory is not being used, the turnover is getting lower and lower, and they're buying stuff that they already have inventory. But this disappointment is not a knock on PunchOut. It's simply a compliment saying that the PunchOut and the vendors' catalogs are easier and better searched than Maximo inventory, so people use it more often than they should. And people have a tendency to take the path of least resistance, and that's really what they're doing. Secondly, the automation blind spot. Shortly after deployment, customers realize that PunchOut only works when a user actually punches out, meaning user-initiated PRs are covered, but system-generated PRs, such as reorder process and work PM jobs that have materials and all that are system created, do not benefit from PunchOut. So all of a sudden you realize that, oh, this is great for the 50, 60, 70% of the purchase requisitions that we're manually creating, but the ones that are being system generated doesn't get the benefit. So again, it's not that the disappointment is not that PunchOut is not great, but the simple PunchOut for only manual entered requisitions is not enough. Thirdly, the buyer lock-in. PunchOut only helps with the initial creation of a PR. So the requester goes out, searches, finds what they want, selects it, brings back it to Maximo. Okay, and that's great, helps the requester. But if the buyer reviews that requisition and maybe they know a better buy, a better price, a better vendor, better supplier, a substitute part that's cheaper, better quality, or whatever, okay, it's very difficult for them to change it. They basically have to delete the line and recreate the line and all that stuff, right? So if they find something better, they want to switch the selection made by the requester. It's very difficult for them. So again, the disappointment is not that the punch-out is for a requisitioner is not great, but the punch-out support for buyers would also be nice to have. It's disappointing that doesn't typically exist with the simple punch-out deployment. So how can you address these disappointments? Well, I'll tell you about over the last decade that we've been doing it, how we, once that we have covered this discipline, how we've addressed it. Number one, improve the item inventory search and inquiry capabilities, right? The main reason, the root cause is people find Maximal queries difficult, searches difficult to find, so they switch out to Granger or other vendors and use their search engines. So make it easier for the requisitioner to find the item in inventory, okay? They would prefer to get from inventory. They can just walk into inventory and get it, right? Management prefers that they use inventory. That's why they have it. That's why they carry inventory. And the assets will get fixed faster because the person just goes into inventory, gets it, and goes back to the job site. It's a win-win scenario. Okay. So here's how we address it. Okay. We've developed an application called EasyRec with PunchOut capability. That's a replacement for the desktop requisition. Now, typical Maximo queries they look almost like green screens, right? You got a whole bunch of fields. You got put in the selection criteria in the exact field you're looking for. If you put the manufacturer code in the description, well, it's not going to be found because it has to be in the manufacturer field and so on. Or when you get a list of items, you see like this, and you have to click on one of these items, not knowing, why one might be better than the other and so forth. Okay. What we did was we reimagined the way queries work. Well, we kind of borrowed from Google, the look and feel. Okay. So instead of having a whole bunch of fields like this, where someone has to figure out where to type in what, we give them a single field. They type anything they want, anything they know what they're looking for, just like they would in Google. Okay, so if I want air filter, I know the manufacturer is Motorcraft. I know the number. I know it's for a Ford F-150 pickup truck, and I type those things in. The sequence doesn't matter. Okay, I can type in as many words as I want. There's anything I know about the item I'm looking for, and the system basically does a keyword search and finds the item no matter where these keywords are located. Whether I put the manufacturer in the manufacturer field, like here, or whether I put in some description field or long description, short description, it doesn't matter. So what we're making the query much more powerful. So when users use it, they will find things. Simple as that. Help them find things, and they will use your query tool. Okay. And then we even go beyond just the item master. For example, Ford F-150 is an asset for which this item happens to be a spare part for. Okay, and we basically use that information to increase the score. Just like Google, we score the hits, the quantity of hits and so forth, the keywords found per item. The higher the score, it bubbles its way to the top. And then we also give you a filtering mechanism on the left. So from this set that was brought back, you can filter further. So if you happen to know it's Motorcraft, you can click on Motorcraft and immediately reduces that set, in this case, to 1. If and only if you don't find it in inventory, then you press out the punch out button and go out to the vendor and shop the vendor's catalog. In this case, we're going Home Depot. We find the item, we bring it back, and it brings it back and assigns an item number if it finds a match. Okay, and if it finds a match, not only does it give you the item number, they can actually either force or give you the option to switch to sourcing from inventory. So even though you found it at Home Depot's website, okay, you can still switch back and say, I want to get from inventory. That's number one. Number two, automate vendor price updates via API. So like I said, PunchOut works great when you're actually punching out. But for requisitions that are generated by the system, like the replenishment report, okay, you don't get that capability. Well, more and more vendors are beginning to offer an API that allows us to programmatically pick up the price from their catalog. Our first deployment is with Granger, okay? With Granger, from Maximo, programmatically, we call an API and get the catalog information, specifically price, and bring it back into Maximo. So programmatically, we include the original, in this case it was blank, and the one that came from the vendor catalog, the model number, the price. The original price was 67 cents. The update price is 75 cents. So we keep the original and the update price, but this happens programmatically. So your system generated purchase requisitions will be updated. Now, not all vendors support this API, but leading vendors like Granger does, and we've deployed this with Granger, and we're looking to deploy with more and more vendors as they make this API available. Third, the lock-in for the buyers. A lot of times the buyers get something, they would prefer to change it to something else, but changing is so difficult. They have to delete the line, select it again, bring it back, all that stuff. And sometimes it's too much work, they may just let it go. Okay. So one, you're not getting the best value. Secondly, you're making the buyers work more than they really need to. Okay. So what we do is basically allow the buyer to also punch out and replace the item that the selected by the vendor, by the requisitioner. So for example, if a buyer looks at the line, the PR, and thinks they can get a better price, better value, better delivery, or whatever, the buyer's got more information than the requisitioner did to get the best value for the company, they can simply select the line. So now they're at the line level and say, this particular line, I'm going to punch out and update. So they go out there, go Granger, find the other item that you want, select it, and bring it back. And what we do is replace it. So we'll keep the original item selected, the original pricing, all the original information for audit purposes. So you can see this is what the requester requested. This is what the buyer ended up actually buying. So you can compare the two, make sure they're the same. I didn't request a motor and the buyer bought a TV. No, it's the same thing. Okay. In addition to that, we're now working to add a reason for the buyer. So buyer can actually specify why they overwrote. They could say better price, better quantity, better delivery, or other options like that as well. Okay. So those are the three key things that we've learned along the way. PunchOut really is great, but after a while, people say, "Oh, I wish I could do this. Oh, I wish I could do that," and so on and so on. So you give them an inch and they want a foot. The typical scenario. Okay, but it does work well, and we've gone and accommodated these disappointments and found ways to resolve them. And this is how we did them. So we want to give you a little preview of the lessons learned and what we've done along the way to improve and lessen or eliminate the disappointment completely. If your supply chain operations are not peak performance, or you're looking to improve, if you have PunchOut to improve it or add it and so forth, we're offering an evaluation basically of your current workflows and so forth. Typically, we charge $3,000. Right now, we're offering free for anyone that attend this webinar, so we can evaluate and tell you what some of your options are. Secondly, if you don't have PunchOut, I would say try it. You'll like it. We're celebrating a decade of PunchOut deployments. We're offering in conjunction with Granger to deploy their catalog, one catalog from one spot, purchase requisition, for example, all inclusive fixed bid for $15,000. In 60 days, we could have you live. 100% configuration, no code changes. It's upgrade safe and so forth. So your IT folks will like it. And all services are included. So it's a fixed fee, turnkey solution for $15,000. If you're interested, you can see the details of that offer at this website. To learn more about all sorts of supply chain issues, opportunities, please join us at the next Supply Chain Matters conference next March. This is an annual event. This is our fourth one coming up in March of 2027. We hope you can join us at that time. And that's it. I want to say thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you learned something. We informed you some things. We've had 10 years of lessons, and these are some of the key lessons we learned. We want to share that with you. Thank you very much. I will open up for any questions. We're at 12:15, so I've delivered this in the 50 minutes promised, but if you have more time, I will stick around and answer any questions you may have.